What you have here is a partial document that may not have to do anything with illegal recycling in North Bergen. That was the same error the media made, which I think they're going to have to apologize to.
So the town stands that there's never been asbestos contamination there?
We have no reports of asbestos contamination there. We had no reports of air supply contamination. The DEP consistently went there with the, after request of Hudson County Mental Health. Well, you don't seem to understand that the DEP manages recycling plants, not the town of Bergen. Our complaints were sent to Hudson Regional when the DEP came in. They have never notified us of any air quality issues there. We did get the violation, we did get the fines. That report, as far as I can see, is based on the New York report that they found contamination in the New York plant. The same error that Channel 9 made when they did their little story. They had the wrong report. They had the New York report. And I think they're going to owe us an apology for it, along with a lot of other nutty allegations that were made on there. But that's the
Well, according to the DEP, there was an interview done by Hudson County TV, and the DEP claims that they are allowed to have asbestos as long as they dispose of it properly. And that the reason they were in trouble is because they were grinding the asbestos, allowing it to go airborne.
I can't answer Hudson County TV. I can only answer the reports that we have.
Completely under the jurisdiction of the DEP. That's been our position from day one.
I don't know when they meet, but when you take your tail down there, we helped drive that plant out of business.
No, I understand, because in 2003 you actually made it.
No,
in 2003 you made a quote that you
have never been notified
everything.
in the town of Bergen that they had asbestos in the air quality there.
But the township does, they have documents that there was a clear danger to human health, correct?
That was a New York report.
No, that was
the New York report.
That was signed by the North Bergen.
We saw the New York report. It was a New York report. That was an error made by Channel 9. It was a New York report on illegal recycling that operated in New York. That's what it was, James.
It's the document I have.
Okay.
That says that the North Bergen Township signed it saying it's a clear danger.
And how about the North Bergen Fire Marshal, Tom Irene, also ordered to close the place because it was unsafe for human?
We sent them down over and over again after the plant to close the plant and find the plant.
I have here the paper that he has signed it, that he ordered to get it closed.
Thomas Irving is an employee from North Bergen who went there, found violations, and was able to help us close the plant until the DEP licensed them to open. We would close it, they would appeal, they would open until they finally went out of business. We fined them $100,000 DEP fine, but also the big fine in New York had a whole.
Yeah, but they didn't pay the fine. Didn't they just switch the name around so they won't have to pay the fine?
They appealed the fine, and it was under Hudson County's jurisdiction under appeal. And the Hudson County Board of Appeals reduced the fine, but we had no say in that that's their right to appeal. So we might have issued a $100,000 fine that was reduced to $20,000. It was reduced, but they did pay whatever the reduction was. But it wasn't our jurisdiction to deal with.
Not our jurisdiction.
We issued the $100,000 fine initially, based on fire violations. It had nothing to do with asbestos.
Also, there was also radioactive materials in that plant, right? Also in Lincoln. How come there was nothing done about that, closing it up and cleaning up the place?
I can't even answer the radioactive particles in the plant, because I don't know of any radioactive particles in the plant. I would think that the federal government would have a great deal of interest in radiation in the plant. And I don't think we'd be sitting here now talking about it if that were found in the plant. However, I'm not going to debate it. I'm just going to say nobody ever notified North Bergen that there might be radioactive particles in the plant. It sounds like a bogus, nonsensical story, but the DEP would have all the records, the EPA would have all the records. They may not share the records with us.
Okay, but I want to ask you a question. Since you know so much about it, how come you never notify the people in North Bergen that that plant is very contaminated and all those people that's getting sick there by breathing the dust in the air?
We were in contact with those people on almost a daily basis, sending people
How
down
could you
there.
say you
They were all
contact when
notified, they
your
knew
first
what it
priority was?
In fact, Al Fishback said to you that day, I'm 80 whatever years old. I've never been sick a day in my life. That plant hasn't gotten anybody sick here. And said most of you here don't live near it. There may have been one or two of you who did. So, I mean, we know what you did.
I want that.
Herb, they were fined multiple times and paid,
Yeah, but
you know,
they-
tens of thousands of dollars down there. So the
Well,
town
they
did,
pull the whole same old thing, they go
They go after
bankrupt, they
them.
form
They
another
certainly went
company and
after
all that kind
No,
of
they're not
stuff.
part of
It's
this.
all legal.
They're not part of Lincoln. Lincoln is totally separate. They're doing a pretty good job down there.
And Cardella is involved too.
No, Cardella's involved in the plant.
They do the same thing. One time they blew sawdust all over the highway because of it. Nothing happened,
There are
no
recycling
fine.
plants, they're licensed,
next-
and they
next
work on the
subject.
railroad.